In another video, I talked about custom page templates in WordPress. But what about custom post templates? Well, that's what this video is all about. Now, the short answer is there is no such thing as custom post templates. WordPress doesn't support those natively. But there are a couple of options you've got. You could use a plugin. And there are a couple I mentioned here, single post templates and custom post template. And they'll produce that drop-down menu just like you have for pages. They'll do that for posts. And then you have to format your custom post template in a certain way, and each plugin works a bit differently. So that's one option. You could also use your functions.php file to supplement the WordPress template hierarchy. In other words, add to it the same kind of hierarchy that exists for pages. You could add that for posts. However, let's stop right here and ask ourselves what it is we're trying to do, because a lot of times what you may want to be doing could be handled several different ways. So, what's your goal? Think about that as you're proceeding here. Are you just trying to change the style of a particular post, or do you actually want to change the whole style and structure of the entire web page created for that post? That's very important to distinguish. I mean, you don't need templates at that point for simply changing the style. There are a couple of options for that. If you actually need to change the whole structure, then yes, a template makes sense. Does the user need to be able to choose whatever you're doing here? Do they need the option to turn it off and on? So with page templates, for example, you can take away that template. You could assign a different template to that page. Do you need to be able to do that for the post? Or is it something that you can hard code into your theme based on the post number of that particular post? Or is it something the user has to be able to choose and unchoose? Are you trying to change all of the posts in a category? Or does this need to be category independent? So for example, with custom page templates, it's chosen on a per page basis. Do you need that for your posts as well? Or is this something you can build into your theme that says, if it's in a category, give it this style of post, give it this page structure as well? And how future-proof do you want things to be? For example, if it's plugin dependent, then the client's going to have to continue to have that plugin. But let's say that WordPress builds in posts to the template hierarchy to a greater degree than it currently does. Are you prepared for that? If you use your own custom template hierarchy, make sure it's built in such a way that the files you create could be used by WordPress in the future. Or if it's something you're building totally from scratch, maybe it won't be compatible. So those are things that you want to be able to think about when you're looking at these different methods. All right, let's take a look at one method of doing this, and this is to create that actual template hierarchy. This is part of a file that was created by Justin Tadlock, a website developer, and this is going in your functions.php file. And basically what it's saying is, go and look for, if this is a single post, go and look for a template file called single-23.php, let's say. So that's looking for the post ID. Or it's looking for the category, the ID of the category or the slug of the category. So if this single post is in category 92, then give it this template file. If it's in the category books, then give it this look. So what this is doing is supplementing the WordPress template hierarchy by adding singles to it as well. So that's one way to go about it. The other way, if you don't need to change the entire page structure, you could create conditionals. So this is part of a single.php file that I've got going. And what I'm saying is, if the post is in these categories, and I've got 3 different ones it could be in, then go look in a folder called single, and then I've created a file called posts-exhibits. So this is a file that's going to control the look of any posts that are for exhibits, and these exhibits can be in 3 different categories. That's why I'm choosing that one there. Or is this something that's just for the artists? So then it goes and looks for posts artists because they're in category 5. So this is all hard-coded into single.php. Of course, I could have put everything that's in these files, I could have put that right in here, but it would have made for an awfully long file, right? So it's much easier to break it up into bits and just say, go find this section for exhibits, this section for artists. So that's a way of using conditionals in there. So these are a few ways of thinking about how to structure individual posts. Custom post templates is not necessarily the way to go. As I mentioned, you need to stop and look at exactly what ways there are to do this. Is it post formats? Is it using a plugin to create custom post templates? Is it changing the template hierarchy so that it will look for files automatically? Is it using conditionals within single.php? Or is it simply using CSS? Don't forget that WordPress automatically creates CSS classes for individual posts, and depending on how you've structured your templates, it could also have an ID for each individual post, and maybe all you're needing to do is use your style sheet to affect the style of that. So there are many different options for working with individual posts. Don't just think in terms of custom post templates.